Last year, I covered a video on memories of the first PlayStation system, and now we can move on to probably my favorite PlayStation system, PlayStation 2, in which, for this video, I will be going my memories of PlayStation 2. Let's begin. PlayStation 2, or PS2, came out on October 26, 2000 in US, almost 25 years old. The 6th generation console after Sega Dreamcast became the first, and then PS2 came out next. Then Xbox and GameCube came out right in the same month, November 2001. PS2 had a lifelong span for all these years. Manufacturing of the system officially ended in early 2013, an almost 13-year run for the system. Imagine PS4 running for 13 years and then ending at the same time as PS2. Anyways, PS2 sales are huge. It is still the best-selling video game console to this day. It's at 160 million units worldwide. That's more big than the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo Switch. Though, I hope Nintendo Switch will do okay, but it won't go higher than PS2, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's talk about the models of PS2, and so far, only 2 have been made. Here's the original PS2 model. It's pretty fat with a vertical stand, and here's the updated model that's more slimline, smaller, and lighter system. I remember someone had the original PS2 model, and yeah, the design is okay, but pretty fat. I like the slim one better. In fact, that's the model my brother owned. Did I say my brother owned the system? Yes, he did, but he didn't actually get it at first. Other than the original PS2 model I saw at someone's house, one of my cousins actually owned a PS2, the slim version. Unlike PlayStation 1, where my brother did not get that system, but my cousin did, but in this, he finally got his own PS2 at GameStop. And I had to look up what the price was for PS2, because he got it back in 2006, and apparently it was $130 for a price cut. That's actually a pretty good price, where in the original PS2 at launch, it was $300. Yeah, the newer model and the price cut was a good idea. Also, my brother did own a GameCube, but I wasn't bothered that he owned 2 systems. He didn't get an Xbox, which I'll talk about that in a future video. Before we get to the games, let's talk about the startup screen. It's right up there with the original PlayStation and the GameCube. I like that the startup jumps right into very quickly with the logo. It's brief, but it's really good startup screen. So let's get to the games, and I have a lot to say about them. I'll try to keep the sports games away because my brother did own a bunch of NBA games and MLB games on PS2, so I won't say about them. But I will do a future video on sports video games. But let's start with probably my favorite PS2 game, Bully. This is from the publisher Rockstar Games that made the Grand Theft Auto games. I remember seeing game footage on Game Informer magazine, and my brother thought it looked cool, and he bought it. And yeah, I was right, but it was pretty fun. I am dying to do a video on this game one day, since it's going to be 20 in 2026. I will do one, since I love the game a lot. Yeah, I know it's more of a teenager version of Grand Theft Auto, but I can take it very seriously. Also, this is one of the video games that I actually beat by myself, without my brother's help. Yeah, who knew I would beat a game that was pretty hard, but enjoyed it at the same time. Also, you can play on PlayStation Network if you want to download it, which I did, and it's still great. Definitely want to do a video on the game. Next up is Madagascar, in which I remember someone owned a copy of the game, then I would later get one. This game I got for Christmas back in 2006. The game is pretty fun. It is a platformer game with other elements mixed in, like stealth, puzzle, and combat. I know this game is for kids, but I remember liking it for what it was. Also, I own a copy with the greatest hits read on it, and apparently it has a demo game of Over the Hedge. That's pretty cool. I wish I got that game. iToy. Okay, I know my cousin did not own this game, but someone got this, and can I just say that this iToy accessory was weird? I kind of remember playing iToy. It was a webcam where it allows players to interact with games using motion. Yeah, I barely remember playing the mini games on iToy, but it was weird. Next up is a franchise I really like, Guitar Hero. My brother didn't get the first game, but he started playing the second game, and besides Bully, this game was really fun. I wish Activision would bring back Guitar Hero for a new generation and on new systems. And while those games can be challenging, it was very complex, especially the guitar controller, something unique to the game. And this is where I started to love rock and metal songs. This game. Yeah, I'm not gonna say the title, but the game is too funny. Yeah, that was my brother's. Next up is Jeopardy! Yeah, if you guys know, I was addicted to Jeopardy! I might be bad at it, but it's my game show I can play over and over again. This and the Wii version I own, but I think I played this one more. I remember playing back in 2006 and I was obsessed. I didn't own Wheel of Fortune games, sadly. Next is Monster House. Yeah, I got this game right when the movie was coming out. Unfortunately, I never beat the game. I got stuck at a level playing as Chowder. Not one of my favorite movie license games, but it's passable. Next is Scarface, The World Is Yours. Another game I really liked, but I barely played it because it was my brother's game and I was not ready for it. A Grand Theft Auto wannabe game, but still very good. Next is The Simpsons game. This is another one I played and I beat the game before my brother did. It was around the time I was getting into The Simpsons and the movie was out. The game is pretty good, but it's not super addicted as Hit and Run. Hit and Run will always be my favorite Simpsons game. This one has story and has more variety when it comes to the game. I do recommend it if you want to play a Simpsons game. Next is Sonic Unleashed. This is the only Sonic game on the list. In fact, this was the final game I ever got on PS2. Unleashed is a good Sonic game, but like most critics say, the Werehog mechanic is not good, but the daylight stages are really good. I heard that this version and the Wii version are the good versions of Unleashed, but I will admit, it was the first Sonic game I got before I would later get other games in the series. That's a plus. Next up are two SpongeBob games, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie and Atlantis SquarePantis. I didn't get Battle for Bikini Bottom, Lights Camera Pants, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, Creature from the Krusty Krab, or any of the Nicktoons spin-off games, but I'm okay with these two games. By the way, SpongeBob movie game was the first PS2 game I ever gotten, and yeah, I enjoy the game, but I didn't beat the game, sadly. And Atlantis SquarePantis, in which I did beat that game was fine. I didn't think it was great compared to the SpongeBob movie. And the final game on the list is a strange game. It's called Thrillville. I swear I did not own this game. My brother actually got it for Christmas 2006. It's a simulation strategy game that's similar to a famous roller coaster video game, Roller Coaster Tycoon, which those games were famous. The game was developed by Frontier Developments, which made two Thrillville games, and then years later they made Planet Coaster 1 and 2, which I haven't played those, but they're similar to Roller Coaster Tycoon. Anyways, I barely played that Thrillville game since I didn't play that much. I had to look up the gameplay footage, and that's basically what I got. The game was okay. There's another game called Thrillville Off the Rails, but my brother never got it. Now let's get to the games my brother and I should have got. I'm not going to include games that I already got on the GameCube, so those won't be on the list, but here's some. Ape Escape 2 and 3 would have been on the list since I played the other one on PSP. Crash Bandicoot would have been great to add because I love the series and I never got the racing games or these two platforming games on PS2. Crazy Taxi would have been a great one to play since it's a great arcade racing game. This version of Cat in a Hat I really could have gotten. The God of War games since they were new IP from the system. The Grand Theft Auto games, but I guess I wasn't ready to play them because they were mature games. The Jack games, which to this day I never played those games, but I could have because they're platformers. The Lego Star Wars games, though I didn't start the franchise until I got older. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is the only game in the series which I would love to play. The Ratchet and Clank games, which they're at the top of my list since it was a new IP. Scooby-Doo Unmasked, which that would have been the only Scooby-Doo game I would have gotten on PS2. Any of the Sonic games, with the exception of Unleashed. I guess the Tony Hawk skating games, the Gran Turismo games. And there's one that I really could have played on PS2, and that is Kingdom Hearts. I've talked about the first game before in a review, but this is one of the games I really should have played as a kid because it has Disney characters and I love Disney. Thankfully we have the games remastered, but I could have owned the first 2 games on PS2. And that's about it for the PS2 games. That was quite a lot to say, but I'm not done. I want to talk about the backwards compatibility. Other than being a game console, it actually features a built-in DVD drive, which means you can actually use a DVD on a PS2. Yeah, the PS2 is becoming a DVD player. This is probably the best thing about the system, and that's the reason why I love PS2. And I'm not gonna lie, I totally wish PS2 was the first DVD player and my first DVD experience. But unfortunately my entire family already owned a DVD player. But if my brother got the system on his birthday in 2003, I would have loved the PS2 to death. I really do like the idea of a game system connecting to physical media and you can watch anything. And then later Sony would add more, even though we're at the age of digital and streaming service where you can watch anything on any device. But a PS2 becoming like a DVD player, that's very rare, even by early 2000s standards. But yeah, PS2 is definitely an improvement over the first PlayStation, and it is one of my favorite game consoles, and I like it more than PS4 and PS5. Another nostalgia game system, and while it came out months before PS3 and around, downfall, I can't deny that this system was fun to use, with a great library of games and even compatible with DVDs that you can watch physical. That is all for my memories of PS2. Next year, I will be covering the next system, PlayStation 3. We'll see how that goes. Next month, I will be covering movie reviews coming up. I'll see you guys in the next one.